Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. And this is our NXT review. And I gotta say, not the worst episode of NXT. I actually liked it more than last week. I thought there was some definitely fun stuff on this show, and I'll just get out of the way right now and say that I thought the opening matchup was the best part of the show for me personally. So overall, if I had to put a number to this feeling, I think I'd give this NXT a solid 7 out of 10. I think I enjoyed it far more than I hated it, although I do have some complaints, but we're going to get to that in a few moments. In the meantime, partner, how'd you feel about tonight's episode?
I think I agree with you pretty much across the board. I thought this was a solid show. There were some really great moments. There were actually a few really fucking good matches. And yeah, there is obviously some stuff that I can complain about, but not nearly as much as usual, I feel like. I feel like this was a step in the right direction for NXT.
I'm the same, and I want to keep my complaints brief, so let's see how good we can be about that, shall we, in our first segment, Heat of the Night. I will say right now that I have 2 nitpicks and Heat of the Night, so I actually want to work from the nitpicks to the actual Heat of the Night. The most general nitpick, I wish the schoolboy would die. I didn't like that Dakota Kai got beat that way tonight. You know what I think it is, man? Because I was really giving this a hard think because I didn't want to just come and be like, roll-ups stink. I think for me, you know how you said in a recent Stardom Live reaction that you've kind of been spoiled with like how well-developed like rookies are coming through their system and we're waiting on Tsukiyama and Sakurai. You know, I feel like in a way, with how technical roll-ups have become, or I should say how technical pinning combinations, to be as pointed as possible, have become with like European clutch, glamorous collection, Mina, you know, that flash pin,
Azumi
revival,
Sushi,
Azumi Sushi,
O'Connor roll,
you know, O'Connor roll. So, you know, when you see all that, the kid clutch, when you see all
Kokomabashi.
of that, yeah, exactly. And I'm actually glad you brought that one up because I would have even looked past this if Cora would have like bridged it. But it's your prototypical roll up. It's Wrestling 101, and I feel like in 2021 it really should be phased out. I'm not just saying just drop it all together, but like I don't know, either phase it out or like upgrade it or something. So again, pickiest of nits because it's not even about Dakota Kai getting beat. I'm used to that, unfortunately. It's more about like okay, with somebody that should be more credible than what she's being booked as still, even despite having all the vignettes and the comeback and everything, maybe we can liven it up a bit. Maybe we can level up our roll-up some. But yeah, I just wanted to get the most general nitpick out of the way first. I'm curious what you're bringing to the table. How many heats tonight? How many nitpicks? Or if you don't even have any complaints. So what
Well,
do you
no,
got?
I don't know how many I have. I didn't really do a great job of keeping track of them. I'm just going to kind of fire off the top of my head as I come up with them. But the biggest one, the most glaring one for me, they done did GYV dirty again, man. What the fuck?
Yeah, dude. I don't even know what to say about that anymore because you know I'm a GYV fan and I'm trying to cultivate a greater sense of patience because there's so much about wrestling that I don't like, and I realize a lot of it actually is outside of wrestling, like, you know, the IWC and stuff like that. And I'm trying not to be as influenced by that with like what I enjoy and what I don't enjoy. And I still enjoy GYV even when they lose, but man, it would be nice if they won every once in a while, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, you say once in a while. I want them to get pushed to the fucking moon. Let's maybe meet somewhere in the middle. I don't know.
Well, I mean, dude, for the record, I think you know that I absolutely agree with you. Like,
Yeah,
I'd love for them to be our NXT Tag Team
I
Champions.
know, I know.
It's
But when
just
you
like,
say
man,
once in a while, it just makes me think like, oh man, that feels incrementalist, and I'm just like, no, fuck the system. Let's do things the right way.
yeah, pretty much. But I hear you, man. I hear you, because again, I come back to, and I'm trying to be more patient again. So this isn't like you're going to do this now, but I am curious. Like they're learning how to cheat better. When does that education come to fruition? That's
Yeah,
what I'm waiting for.
yeah,
Um,
man, they had all those vignettes, and it's literally not paid off once.
because to me, and I'm not trying to be overly critical here, but when you have all those vignettes and they're getting the education and yet you still lose, that makes you look worse to me. It's kind of like I don't know if you I don't even know if you were a fan of old school Simpsons because I know we both think Simpsons now sucks. I don't know if you remember the episode. I think it was called like Bart Gets an F. and he actually studies for the test because Mrs. Krabappel like tells him like, oh, if you don't pass this test, you know, you're going to be in summer school. And they do this whole thing where like he studies and he tries and whatever, and he still gets an F. And like even he cries because he's like, but I tried this time. I really tried and I still failed. So he knows how much shittier that is. And so I think of GYV the same way. They know they're a great tag team, and now they're actually really trying to be an even better tag team, and they're still losing. Like, how does that not, in my mind, you know what I mean, make them look bad? I think it almost says something where you can put effort in and still lose, and it's like, oh my God, well, should I just write you off completely then? That's the impression that I get. So I'm curious what the payoff's going to be because I'm really waiting for it at this point. So. And actually, Foster, this wasn't going to be a part of my roster, but I was thinking about Odyssey Jones tonight. I was wondering, where the heck is he? I feel like this has been the second week in a row we haven't seen him. But to get back to my actual roster, another nitpick here. I don't like that Tiffany Stratton got in on the Grayson Waller bullying. Or I shouldn't even say bullying, but I guess calling out. This was weird to me. She meets him backstage in one of the backstage segments he had because Grayson Waller got a lot of TV time tonight, and we're going to get to Grayson Waller in just a few moments. But Tiffany Stratton was one of those people, and she walks by him. We don't see her face, and she just says to him, my daddy says you're not a good person. I don't like that. I wouldn't have made her a part of this because her vignettes to me, I mean, Ashton, you can corroborate for me. You're very good about calling me out when you feel like I'm either like off the mark or whatever. Don't her vignettes scream heel to you? Just so we're on the same page.
Dude, I think she is a heel. I think that they're just trying to make Waller into a fucking super heel.
And you know what? I get that, dude. It's not that I don't get that, but I think you hurt your cause when you have somebody that I really don't want to root for be on that bandwagon.
Right.
Like, it just, to me, it hit weird.
I think it was more just them trying to drive the point home that, like, Waller is such a despicable piece of shit that even Tiffany Stratton's dad thinks he's a piece of shit.
Yeah, and I'm like, see, and again, this is where, like, my life outside of wrestling definitely inhibits me from fully suspending my disbelief, right? Because I'm like, there's no fucking way. Tiffany's dad would have loved that shit. That's practically what capitalists do all the time. They prey on the weak.
You know what else capitalists do all the time is feign compassion for good PR.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. So I'm just sitting here and I'm like, you kind of lost me there, NXT. Yeah. But your turn, brother. What else would you like to talk about, if anything, for this segment?
I think I might be out, actually. I mean, I will say, I wouldn't call this a hate of the night because it's fairly harmless, but good Lord, Von Wagner has the personality of Cantaloupe.
I mean, he has very big shoes to fill as far as Cro-Magnons in WWE. I mean, Edge most notably comes to mind. So he's really got to step up that promo game because, wow. I mean,
his promo game,
I don't even know.
Jack Swagger vibes.
I don't even know if his promo skills are good enough for a Geico commercial, let alone NXT, but that remains to be seen.
That's too good. So, oh my god, that's like, that cuts so fucking deep. I kind of feel bad for him now. Jesus Christ.
Was it even worse that I said it in the most casual air possible?
Yes, yes, that made it so much worse because it made it clear that you didn't give a fuck how deep you cut.
Yeah, I'm a real prick.
Yeah, you're capable of it without a doubt.
But as far as my actual heat of the night, and again, I don't even want to go too deep into this because again, I'm trying to reform. And I just am in a really good mood today. Grayson Waller as the top heel.
Ugh.
Okay, I'm going to be as even-handed as possible. I honestly don't think he's the worst promo, and I honestly, unironically, think that his accent does help with that because he at least has a voice that I could tolerate if he's going to cut promos, unlike Charlotte, where it's like, oh my god, I literally can't handle your voice. I want to just dig into my own ears with a rusty nail.
I don't even think with Charlotte, I don't think it's her voice. I really do think that it is like her, how do I even describe it? It's not the sound of her voice that's the problem. It's specifically how she uses it. Like it's like she, you know, like that fucking skit from Family Guy where Peter doesn't know how to control the volume of his own voice. That's fucking Charlotte Flair, but rather than sentence to sentence, it's syllable to syllable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like someone's trying to play that fucking Rock Band game where you have a guitar player, a bass player, a drummer, and a singer, and the singer glitched out, and like the little line for the singer looks more like a fucking heartbeat rate monitor rather than an actual song that's like consistent.
Yeah. And so, Waller, I don't think has that problem. I don't even mind the stuff that they've done with him as a character. I did agree with what you said in the live wrestling discussion channel of our Discord. By the way, for any new people, access to our TWitWoW Discord is $3 a month. I would definitely get in on that. Great community where they're trying to make like a Miz 2.0 here.
Yeah.
What I will say, my biggest concern is the in-ring. I find the in-ring to be concerning because if you're going to be that heel, right, I feel like you should be able to go and you should really be able to take that beating. Now, I don't really have much
Didn't we
comments about
compliment Waller on his in-ring before he turned fully heel, though?
I don't think, dude, we openly said he sucked. I don't know what you're talking about. What? Yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking of someone else. I don't know.
Dude, I'm really surprised you came out there with that because I'm very sure that we have openly said like he sucks. Huh. I even know it was like I will say that I thought that the match he had with Ciampa a few weeks ago wasn't bad. I did say that I didn't think it was a bad match.
I thought like when he was just working 205 Live, I thought that like I randomly tuned in and I was like, oh, he's pretty good.
Well, I don't know because we haven't had discussions like that here, not to my knowledge. But
I said, maybe I'm imagining someone else because there have been a lot of randos working 205 over the course of the last few months.
Yeah. But regardless, just to finish my thought, I just the in-ring, like he's got to be able to take a beating. So I guess the selling would be more important than anything. But I really do think back, and I have to give him this credit because I can't be a hypocrite retroactively. I genuinely loved it at the time. Ciampa's big heel turn when he attacked Johnny and he beat, Aleister Black for the NXT championship and all that stuff.
Yeah.
He was an amazing heel. He was better than Waller on the mic. But again, Waller is good enough, I think. I could tolerate this, and I would definitely enjoy seeing him get his ass beat.
Waller now is better than the Miz was at the stage Waller is in his career when Miz was at that stage.
I think that's well said. I definitely think that's well said. But the thing was, with Ciampa, you knew he'd be able, as a heel, to have those great matches, especially when he, was the champion. And now with Waller in this spot, you can't talk all this shit that he's talked, and you can't have this image of himself that he has, in my mind, without inevitably becoming the world champion, even if he does beat Braun Breaker to do it. Because I do think Braun is going to be the next NXT champion, but we'll get to that a bit later. So to be able to do that, he's got to be able to work those long matches. I just don't think he has it in him to do that. And again, that's not me trying to be visceral to the dude. That's just a genuine, sober observation. Like, I don't think he has it in him to do that and be that guy. Maybe he'll prove me wrong. But yeah, I just think about the last time NXT really had a heat magnet and Ciampa, and I'm like, well, that worked because he checked every box, and if he could have finished his title reign properly, I can only imagine the pop Gargano would have gotten. If it was Ciampa, he would have beaten instead of Cole. And Cole's a great heel too. Not a disservice to Cole, but he didn't have the story. I want Waller to be able to give a babyface a moment like that.
Yeah.
And because that to me is the mark of a great heel. And I don't know if he has it in him. So I just wanted to have that brief digression on Waller. I didn't want to get too into the weeds. Just saying that if they are going to make him like the top heel, I don't know if long-term that's going to be a sound investment or not. I think it really does come down to the in-ring and being able to make that babyface. So I don't know.
Do you know what's really interesting? I just looked up Grayson Waller's cage match. Dude wrestled 180 matches before getting signed by WWE.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know. He just gives off such, freshly trained WWE NXT rookie vibes. It's hard to believe, but yeah, he wrestled 180 matches, most of them in Australia, if not all of them, I don't know, before getting signed. And then he took 3 months away from wrestling, which I'm assuming was the time that it took for him to pack and move and, start training under the system and all that shit. And then, yeah, he started wrestling on 205 Live within 3 months of his last match in Australia. Oh, yeah.
So I just hope, that it works out for them. And also really can't say that just as kind of like an attachment to this, I can't really say that I like that they could be repositioning LA Knight as kind of like the heart and soul babyface, just in the sense of like, oh, you know, Braun may be our babyface like champion, but LA Knight is what you think of when you think of this new era of NXT or whatever.
You know what I have
Which
to say
I'm
to
not.
that?
What's that? Oh wow!
I
Damn.
spit on it.
Wow. I mean, I don't blame you, but shit, man. I don't know if NXT is doing that. I don't want to jump the gun, but they are putting him in this feud immediately off the heels of him attacking Johnny. You know, that's actually a bigger deal than some might think, because I think that first feud after something like that happens really matters. And the idea that Knight kind of, you know, drew the winning number, so to speak, to be in that spot, we'll see if they can carry the load. I'm rooting for them, but we'll see. You said you didn't have anything else on your roster, right? Just check in with you one more time.
Yeah, pretty sure.
All right, then let us get into our NXT review. And we open up with Grayson Waller. Again, he got a lot of TV time tonight. He steps outside.
I think he got like 4 segments, dude.
It was a lot, dude. It was a lot. Yeah, and I think you're right too. Actually, no, dude, I think overall he got 5 segments. Because he did have that leaving NXT, and then we get the camera shot of him having assaulted LA Knight in the parking lot, but we just see the aftermath of that. We got that. We got him in the locker room being kicked out by Braun. We got backstage him getting yelled at EO. We got the actual segment where he cut the promo, and we got this. He got so much time tonight, which again, like, that shows NXT's commitment. They're all in on this dude being the heel. So he comes out. Section of the NXT faithful are jeering at him, you know, you suck, and he takes his phone out and he's recording it, and, you know, it's whatever. Then we get to, in my mind again, just the highlight of the show for me. No holds barred, Cameron Grimes versus Duke Hudson. Ashton, I have quite a bit to say about this, some of which is a rehash of what I said in the live wrestling discussion channel of our Discord. But I want you to go first. What were all your thoughts about this match? Favorite moments? Just anything you want to talk about as it relates to this match.
Are we talking about the opening match here?
Yes, the opening match. No holds barred.
Yeah. It was really, really good. These two guys have great chemistry with each other, and these matches have really shown me that even I, who I would have considered myself a fan of Duke Hudson going into this, these matches have shown me that even I was underestimating him or underrating him, or maybe a little of both. I think that dude is way better than I realized, way better than I gave him credit for, and I really, really hope both A, that this feud is now over and Cameron Grimes starts title hunting, and B, that Duke Hudson doesn't get lost in the sauce now that this feud is over. I really want them to continue to kind of keep down the gas pedal on him, because he's way too good for them to keep getting forgotten about, basically, which is what kept happening to him prior to this.
Partner, I will say that you just said everything that I would have said excellently. The only thing that I'm going to add, because there's no point in retreading things when you said it perfectly, is that my 2 favorite moments in this match came from Duke Hudson. One was the slingshot over the ropes, grabbing Grimes on the way in and German suplexing him. I clapped out loud at that visual. That was gorgeous. And then the other, which I was so impressed by this, Grimes tries launching himself off a steel chair like Air Sabu style in the corner. Hudson intercepts him, holds him in the air, and Uranagis him on the seat of the chair. This dude's power, like, I'm sorry, but like, I think about guys like, I forget his last name or his full ring name, and I was trying to think about it all night. But Terry in TNA, that big guy, he seemed clunky. We talked about how Charlotte fans, Rob was the first name. Thank you. Rob Terry seemed clunky. Charlotte and Nia for the women seemed clunky. Duke Hudson's an actual powerhouse. Like an actual power. Like, I was like, damn. I love that. And then, yeah, just those 2 moments, like I said. And I know I've given Grimes all the credit in the world, and he deserves it, and he's wonderful. And again, you said everything perfectly. I just wanted to give Duke my flowers as well, because what you said at the beginning about just potentially underrating him, I'm right there with you. I am absolutely right there with you, because I could say that I like the guy and I was rooting for the guy. This was a revelatory matchup. more than maybe even Duke realizes. I think this is the type of matchup where it's like, okay, I might have lost, but I still got over. And that's really all you can ask for. And honestly, he looks good with the bald look. I even said from some camera angles, he looks like a shaved Bry to me. So yeah, I think he's gonna pull it off well. Anything else you want to say about this matchup?
Nope.
Yeah, Grimes wins after the cave in with Hudson seated, and then again, yeah, we see the bald dome. After that, we get Cora Jade and Dakota Kai backstage. Cora Jade, she's feeling good. She's happy that she got medically cleared. Dakota interrupts and talks about how Raquel's been kind of befriending Cora and more or less says like, "Oh, watch your back," because she always takes people that are more talented than her and just kind of sucks them dry and uses them, all that stuff. Said, maybe you'll be a tag team, maybe you'll win a Women's Dusty Classic, and Dakota starts laughing about it. And Cora just goes, "Thanks, Mom. But, after I beat you tonight, I'll be one step closer to Mandy's NXT Women's Championship," and she walks off. And Dakota just freaks out, having been called Mom. I still don't quite know what's going on with Dakota, but I'm enjoying it, which I think is a testament to how much I love Dakota.
She's entertaining, at least.
Yeah, like, Dakota's one of those few people that, like, I could get irritated about not exactly having my finger on the pulse of what's happening here narratively, but you're so good that I'm going to ignore it, and I'm just going to trust you to lead me by the hand on this journey. And, yeah, Dakota's awesome. Love her to death. Then we get one of the worst parts of the show, which, would you look at that? I'm going to skip it. Yeah, it was Jensen and Briggs and Casey and Kaden on the vignette. I'm not even going to waste oxygen talking about this.
Dude, of course Casey and Kaden would hang out with these fuckers.
Yeah, I openly said in the Discord that I'm in hell. I'm in hell when this happens. So I don't need to go back there. Okay, so we're just gonna skip that.
But then it got worse.
It did, but again, per my heat of the night, I'm trying to ease up a bit, but it did because it was Grayson Waller. Do you have anything substantive you'd like to say about this promo here, or how we interact with the crowd, or just anything at all that just comes to your mind seeing this?
No, I don't think so. I almost feel like they missed out an opportunity here to get him like really, really insane nuclear heat, where like he plays the package of him attacking Johnny, and then the crowd boos really loudly, and he's like, "Oh, what's that? You want to see it again?" And then he plays it again, and he plays it like maybe 2 or 3 more times just to really get that fucking nuclear, like Kevin Owens and Elias in Seattle type heat.
Yeah, honestly, not only do I agree with you there, I think it would have been hilarious because I did see some people. I think that quickly dissipated, though, when they learned of Johnny's actual contract status. But if there were still some people that were like, "Oh, Johnny got beaten down. There's no way he's going to be off and just let his character go down like that." If he would have played the Rebel Heart theme, worked him, and then just started laughing and been like, "Oh, you idiots."
That would have been incredible.
Yeah, like, I agree with your idea. I think if we would have combined both of our ideas, there might have been people wanting to jump the barricade, which obviously, like, you shouldn't do that, but, like, holy fuck. Yeah, I mean, again, man, we'll see. I really don't have much to say about this. It really seemed to be like your by-the-numbers kind of heel promo, pretty much saying, like, "Oh, Grayson Waller gets views." Like, I don't watch Raw, so I might be out of pocket saying this here, and especially given that, he actually kind of revived the discourse today, given his involvement in speaking out and everything. But is it weird that I almost feel like Austin Theory does a kind of better job with this gimmick than Grayson Waller does? Like this whole plugged into social media kind of thing, being that guy, that like caricature of his generation kind of thing. I don't know.
It's hard to say. Man. I think there's things that they both do well and things that they both do poorly,
Yeah.
I think I would rather see Austin Theory getting Waller's current push, though. I know that because we know he can at least go in the ring.
Yeah. Like, if we have to put up with Austin Theory, really, if we have to put up with anybody, all I ask is that you can work. And again, have that matchup where you make the other guy if you're going to be in this spot. So, yeah, that was Waller here in this segment again. This was the second, I think, of 5 segments. Man, they really promoted this.
Was it 5?
Then
Jesus.
Yeah. Again, it was 5 because we have him arriving to the arena.
Christ.
The segment in the ring, backstage with EO, getting kicked out of the locker room, and then leaving and showing how Megan beat up.
God, I hate myself, but I missed the EO segment. Fuck.
She just swore. I'm assuming swore at him in Japanese and stuff.
I heard.
He was just like,
I was in another room, and I did hear angry Japanese shouting, and I was like, "Is that EO?" And my mom was like, "Yep."
Yeah. Okay. After this, we kind of recap MSK meeting the shaman who was revealed to be Riddle, and then they kind of followed up on this vignette later in the night by showing what was in the bag, and it was like a traffic cone and John Cena's old United States Championship, with his Thugonomics theme actually playing in the background when they unveiled that championship.
Nice.
So I thought that was pretty cool. Vignette was fine. I just, you know how I am with fucking Riddle and stuff. My God, what a difference a year makes. And so I feel like maybe 2 years ago at this point, my perception of time with COVID is fucked, but I think like 2 years ago I was like, oh yeah, Riddle's awesome. He's going to change the business. And now I'm just like, go away.
Yeah. It was
2
years ago for sure.
Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, these vignettes were fine. I mean, they were harmless. And MSK, again, being out of that arena, it's good for them. Do you have anything you want to say about these vignettes?
No.
Then we get a person that always puts a smile on my face.
Malcolm.
Daddy Bivens. Yep, Malcolm. Talking about how Diamond Mine's going to handle business. Talking about how the champion, Roderick Strong's going to handle Braun Breaker. How Ivy Nile is going to win tonight. And he's like, Ivy, you ready? She's like, yeah. And she gives him a hard fist bump. He's like, damn, girl, he's strong as hell. I like that. Fucking love Malcolm's energy, man. He really is like, I think he's just got such a authentic, hilarious energy that he could read the phone book to me and just occasionally pepper in that Malcolm Bivens confidence. And it would be the experience of a lifetime. I'd pay full price for that shit.
God.
Daddy Bivens stays winning. Yeah.
That would be a lot of fun.
Our short king, recognized by a fellow short king and myself.
I just imagine him being like, A is for aardvark. And if you didn't know, aardvarks eat ants, which is exactly what Roderick Strong is going to do to Braun Breaker tonight.
Oh, God. Amazing. Yeah, I'm here. I'm here for it. All of it. I want to get your thoughts on this. Lashing out with Lash Legend with guest jacket time, and we do get a Wendy Chu sighting, aka Karen Q.
Yeah, I've noticed that she kind of follows jacket time around. Is she gonna be like their fucking mascot or some shit?
Possibly. Here's my question though, if that's the case. What's NXT's aversion to having her just wrestle?
I don't know.
Because I know she did, right? But
well, maybe it's the injury thing. Because she literally had like the really badly broken leg by Raquel, and it took her like fucking 2 years or whatever to recover. So maybe they just are like trying to be very, very gentle with her, and they see her as fragile or something.
That's a shame, man. Like, that is one thing I still hate about the wrestling business, and I don't want to go down in the weeds with this, but like, where an unsafe worker becomes somebody else's problem just in terms of stigmatization and shit.
Yeah, 2 years later, and Raquel's a former NXT Women's Champion, and the woman that she injured is being handled like fucking glass.
Exactly, and I think we've seen this many times before in pro wrestling. Like, Karen is far from the first. But, again, I will say the Wendy Chu character is just somebody that, like, I don't know, sleeps a lot, I guess, and occasionally wakes up to do stuff. Is interesting and good job noting the maybe she's just really relaxed. I mean, show me your secrets.
No, you didn't hear me. I said Snorlax.
Oh, Snorlax. I thought you said super relaxed. Maybe a Snorlax. Yeah, that is possible. So I guess a follow-up question for you, because we talked a little bit about Wendy Chu. When you actually look at Lash Legend, apparently she did debut on 205.
I want to check
consensus
that out.
seems to. I want to check it out too, because the consensus right now seems to be that she was decent. How long before we see that in NXT, you think?
Not soon enough, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, because my problem is, like, I don't mind Lash Legend talking. Even though, again,
I like her. I think she's cool. I'm a fan.
Yeah, I like it too. I still kind of want to put her on commentary for a little bit, just so that she can, like, we could see her in a different kind of environment. Because I feel like these, like, produced Lash Legend segments, they're not bad, but I'm wondering the full range of her personality, I think, is what I'm trying to get at. But I agree with you
that she loves jacket time, personally.
Yeah, well, that makes two of you, because I'm male in jacket time, as you know. But, yeah, I mean,
dude,
they did
believe
fine
me,
here.
I'm male in jacket time, too, and I'm angry at them for beating GYV tonight. But I can appreciate the meme and the gimmick, and I really like that they're, like, well liked backstage. You know.
That is true. God knows we need more of that, right? And yeah, I mean, we stand memes in this household, so no arguments there. Fine segment. Fine segment. They promote their match with GYV tonight. Jiro gets all fired up in Japanese, and Lash Legend's like, yo, what's going on? And then he's just like, jacket time! And he flashes again, and it gets a pop from Lash's crowd. So that was lashing out with Lash Legend. Then we get Amari Miller versus Ivy Nile, and because you guys already know
this match was pretty fun.
Nile, I enjoyed this. You guys already know that I'm an Ivy Nile fan, so I wanted to take this moment to give Amari Miller her flowers, so to speak. I watch her in the ring, and like I said in the live wrestling discussion channel of our Discord, I feel like she is what Stardom kind of hopes Sakurai will be. I like the way she moves. I like the kicks that she had in this matchup. You know, kind of like that more athletic offense. It was good stuff from her. The best spot that Ivy had in this match had to be that takedown. That takedown made me fucking pop. Where it almost seemed like she speared her, but she grabbed her and she took her down in one fluid motion. I was like, shit.
Okay. See, I thought her best moments were like where she had her in the figure 4 headlock and she was doing like fucking push-ups up on the ropes. Like
yeah, that was good too.
And then the actual push-ups where she had her feet up on the ropes too. Then like those were both really cool moments.
I agree with you, bro. Why I pop for the takedown is that like I've seen male performers, even like the Creed brothers, because I think Julius and Brutus do takedowns, and I'm thinking more Julius in this case. And you know, before
everybody
them,
in NXT 2.0 does this fucking double leg takedowns. It's like they just randomly started teaching that as a mid-match maneuver at the PC.
That's true, but I'm thinking more of the double leg takedown where you kind of pick them up first before like you drop them down, because I know like a lot of people with those amateur backgrounds do that. Like I know Swagger used to do that. Why she popped me when she did it was because of the snap and the speed on it. I feel like when I've seen a lot of guys do it, it's always like this kind of slow process. But like Ivy just bam like that, snapping my fingers, had her down, and I'm like, damn, that's vicious. You know, they've been going with this whole line like calling her a pit bull. And that was like a spot where I'm like, okay, I believe it. That was tenacious as fuck.
Right.
So, yeah, she wins with the Dragon Sleeper. I like that they're kind of rehabilitating that submission move. And yeah,
I love
Ivy
how like aggro she was to lock that move in. Because like the way she locked it in and immediately hooked her hands behind her back, like that was really strong imagery in my opinion.
I completely agree with you, without a doubt. Want to get your take on this next segment. I'm going to break down everything we got here. Zion Quinn gets interviewed. Robert Stone after the fact when Zion gets done. And then Von Wagner interrupts. We already kind of touched on Von Wagner in our first segment, so you don't really need to talk about him. I know, though, we both love Robert Stone, and you seem sold on Zion, as am I. But I want you to kind of take the floor what you thought about those two tonight.
Wait, was this Zion cut a promo and then Robert and then Von?
Yes, exactly.
I forgot that. I actually legitimately forgot that Zion was the promo before Robert. Robert just stole the show. I honestly, because of Robert kind of taking my attention, I forget what Zion even said.
He more or less said, just to give a generalization of the promo, that like he doesn't really care what Elektra Lopez's intentions were because, you know, he lost the match.
Right.
And he likes to play straight, but now that he knows what the rules of the game are, more or less, I think he just gave off the vibe, like, now that I know what the rules of the game are, I'm ready for you, kind of thing. So I don't think he's done with Legado. I do think Zion has great presence when he talks. He definitely has a charisma, I think, that emanates off of him.
He does, but he doesn't necessarily measure up to our boy, Robert Stone.
No, and he's actually the guy that I really wanted to talk to you about, only because we know what Zion's doing. He's feuding with LDF. Robert Stone being a question mark makes him more alluring to me, character-wise, because he seems done with everything. Now, what did you think about his energy here, and what do you think this means for his future?
Bro, anytime you ask me what I think about anything related to Robert Stone, the answer is going to be hilarious, because he's fucking hilarious.
Yes.
He
yes.
He is one of the few acts throughout NXT history who has that direct line of my funny bone the way that Malcolm Bivens has one to yours.
Genuine question, because again, he does seem fed up with how he's treated and everything, and he wants more respect. I feel like he might have said something like this before, and it was just kind of the same old Robert Stone. if they did try and get him like a serious client, right, that wins, and that maybe we're even like, oh my God, Robert Stone's on TV more because his client's winning more, blah, blah, blah. Do you think because he wants to be serious, they would have him tone down the comedy, which I think would be a great loss? Or do you think Robert Stone's always going to be just Robert Stone?
I hope. I mean, I hope the latter and not the former.
Because I really worry with WWE sometimes that, like, whether it be a wrestler or like an announcer or whatever, they have like this cookie cutout kind of template, and they want everybody to like conform eventually to that template. And I worry if they made Robert Stone like this stiff upper lip series manager, like, no, nobody's gonna laugh at me now.
Dude, you know who I think would be a perfect candidate to be Robert Stone's next client?
Who's that?
The dude that you were just talking about hasn't been on TV in 2 weeks, Odyssey Jones.
That would be interesting.
Because Robert Stone, I mean, say what you will about Robert Stone as a manager as far as whether he gets his clients wins or not, he gets his clients TV time no matter what.
That is true.
He always has. I always remember all the way back to when he and Chelsea Green, that was his first client, were on air almost every week. And then Chelsea Green ditches him, and what happens? We don't see her for months, but we see Robert Stone almost every week.
That's true. That's true.
Robert Stone gets his clients TV time, and what I love too about the thought of Odyssey Jones being his next client is that Odyssey Jones can be goofy with him backstage, but when he steps between those ropes, there are few more dangerous in NXT.
You know why I love that idea too? Because like it makes Odyssey look so good, because ever since his tenure started in NXT and we actively got to see him, everybody's been able to pick on Robert Stone. Who's going to pick on Robert Stone when Odyssey is standing next to him? Nobody's going to fuck with that dude. Like, I love that idea, dude. I think you had a brilliant idea. I should say, really, too,
honestly,
that,
if you want the truth, I wouldn't be surprised if Odyssey himself picked on Robert a little bit in like a fun, pals, joking around with each other kind of way, where like I could see Odyssey like lifting Robert Stone up and putting him in a dumpster, and that being like a comedic segment where it's like, well, it's not like Robert is gonna fucking reprimand him or be like, I'm quitting as your manager or you're fired as my client or whatever, because he fucking needs him. He needs him more than Odyssey needs Robert in a way.
Exactly. Yeah, I completely agree.
So I think that is a dynamic that is like super ripe for the picking. I think that that's something that NXT would be probably, dropping the ball if they didn't go there.
After you presented it that way, bro, I can't help but agree with you, honestly. I will also say, for public enjoyment, that I was absolutely a child when Robert Stone would tweet about this later. An hour ago, he tweeted, "The Robert Stone joke is over," to which I replied, "Tank or bank on it." So, yeah, I still got my last few laughs out the door.
You would.
Yeah, I did. Then we get another act that was somewhat heavily promoted throughout the night. Not nearly as much as Grayson Waller, mind you.
Boa.
Joe Gacy and Harlan.
Oh.
Yes. Harlan is going to be unleashed. And, that comes after the follow-up MSK Riddle vignette, which I already talked about with, what's in the bag, and they show what's in the bag. Then we get Harlan versus Guru Raj. Any thoughts on this?
There's a lot I could say about this.
Okay.
I already commented in the Discord about how these guys are going to go commit some hate crimes, and then they end up in a fucking match against an Indian dude.
Yeah, don't think that didn't cross my mind, too, watching this.
And, of course, after the match was over, after Harlan beat the dude, Gacy was like, "Do you feel better?" And he shook his head no, and he continued the beat down. And then fucking Brian Kendrick, I guess, ended up getting caught up in the crossfire, and he ended up in the trainer's room for it. So, like, when are they going to take the mask off? That's what I want to know. Because right now they're very mask on about these two guys basically being like fucking extremists, but it's so close. Like, it's like tip of their tongue. It feels that close to just being mask off. You know what I mean?
Honestly, okay, so there's a lot I want to say about this too, and I want to be as coherent as possible. So let me start with a baby step. I actually like the belly to back Uranage for the finish from Harlan. I haven't seen that variation since the Reflection of Perfection, Mark Jindrak, who was also very talented when he was in WWE. So I like the finish. I like the aggression. But again, the packaging makes one weary for all the reasons you just noted. Here's the even bigger problem, though, and God, it's almost poetic how this segment is going, because the bigger problem is structural. Another thing, true people committed to social justice probably say a lot when their analysis is, looking at reality for what it is, and that's that WWE, they are starting to push non-white people, in top of. I mean, we had Kofi Mania, Bobby Lashley looked dominant on Raw last night, stuff like that, but. I don't know, man. I don't know if they'd have because you know who I thought about when you're saying when are they going to go full mask off and like, oh, what kind of a babyface could they make? I would love like an Ali level babyface to get over at the expense of these guys and really just make a fucking fool out of them, because that's what all like white nationalist extremists or whatever what these guys are clearly like imitating in that way or signaling to are, they're always a joke. And I just worry that if they never go mask off, but we all know what's happening and they keep getting pushed, it's like, well, where's the comeuppance? Like, I don't know. It's a really weird ground to navigate, and I don't think WWE has the depth to navigate it. Again, and I hate to be that guy, but I just got to, be honest. If it was a Lucha Underground, I'd be excited by this. Because already by now in a Lucha Underground universe, Joe Gacy and Harlan would have killed people already, literally, because we saw death happen on Lucha Underground.
Yeah.
And we would have seen, like, oh, man, these guys are cultish. They really are, like, alt-right. I don't think those guys, especially because I know for a fact, like, Roach is more liberal in his politics, they wouldn't have been afraid to broach that at all. They would have been like, yeah, these guys are a stand-in for the alt-right today. But I also know that when they would have done those killings and everything, you would have had a fucking huge comeuppance. Maybe Swerve would have gotten him with a literal kill shot and a vignette, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that. Or Mac. Or somebody like that being like, get your fucking trash ass out of this fucking temple. And it could have been this beautiful thing about, black
or
empowerment,
like one of the
stuff
OG
like that.
luchadors.
Or OG luchadors, something like that. Like, yeah, and then again, knowing Lucha Underground, they could have had a vignette where they literally get picked off, like killed. And it would have been amazing. It would have been at times disturbing. There's no, because reality right now is disturbing. But Lucha Underground could have gone there and had the depth to come back and really tell us an amazing story about the perils of radicalism and the people courageous enough to stand up to it. But I don't think that's the story they're telling here. And what disturbs me is that's probably the story you should be telling, but I don't know what story you're telling.
I feel like if they're going to tell about any kind of radicalism, it's going to be in their mind left radicalism. Like they're going to be like, they're going to have these guys start cutting promos about how great Antifa is.
Well, yeah, maybe, and God, then
that is like the ultimate, like, what the fuck, you're horrible people kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Because weren't there even rumors like, oh, internally WWE thought like Retribution were to be a stand-in for Antifa?
Yeah.
And for a time, I'm like, oh, that's fucking cool because I want to cut ropes with chainsaws forever, chainsaw guy. I don't know who the fuck you were.
I think that was Shane Thorne.
Shane Thorne. Well, Shane, you did something good with that chainsaw at least. But yeah, I don't know what's happening here. And the more I don't know what's happening here, the more I'm discomforted by it, but not in that traditional, oh, the heels got me kind of thing. So yeah, and then like you said, later in the night, he fucking Kendrick gets thrown down a flight of stairs. And all that made me think was, wow, I miss Brian Kendrick. But
yeah, dude, right? Seriously. Talk about a guy that never got his fucking due. Even in his most recent run, the fact that he never held that cruiserweight title is an absolute abomination.
I feel like he was the second ever cruiserweight champion when they brought it back, right? Because he did beat TJP for it.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, but that was so long ago. Yeah, that was so long ago, though. I don't blame you for forgetting.
I forgot about that.
That was years ago.
Was he a heel?
He was a heel, yeah.
Oh, damn. Yeah, I totally
I know it's hard to imagine anybody being a heel.
How long did he hold the title? Do you know if he held it for long?
I don't think he held it for too long, from what I remember.
Fuck it, I'm looking it up.
I guess, yeah, while you're looking that up, I'll just finish off by saying, not a bad debut, but I think everything surrounding it's a bit unnerving, guys. And I don't really trust this company to tell any kind of story with these kinds of heel characters.
He held it for a fucking month.
That sounded about right, yeah.
And then he dropped it
Yeah.
to Swan, who held it for 2 months, and then dropped it to Neville.
Who went on his fucking tear as king of the cruiserweights.
Yeah.
All right. After this, we get LA Knight arriving in NXT. Pretty much says like, oh, he's looking for Grayson Waller. Calls Grayson Waller an incel, and he throws a hissy fit taking down on Gargano.
Wait, who called Grayson Waller an incel?
LA Knight, because this is where he arrives at the arena.
For fuck's
comes
sakes,
in the arena,
of course he would. Jesus Christ.
Cuts like a walk and talk kind of promo. So that happened. Then we get Cora Jade versus Dakota Kai. I kind of touched on this matchup in our first segment. If there's anything you want to add to that, now that we're actually at the match, please feel free.
Can I just say, I think, God, whoever's writing these promos for NXT should probably make sure that they know what these terms fucking mean before they use them. Because literally nothing about Grayson Waller's character says anything remotely close to incel.
Yeah.
Like, the dude's entire gimmick is that he's been laid, basically. Like, the dude's entire gimmick is like, I'm a cool dude that WWE signed because I'm popular. Like, that's literally the opposite of an incel, LA Knight. What are you saying?
Yeah, you are unnecessarily giving so many 4chaners hope. Because when he uses that word, they look at him and he's like, that guy definitely fucks, which means one day I'll fuck. And it's like, no, that's not how any of this works. So
Good Lord.
I don't know. I don't know.
Dude, they're really building up LA Knight as a baby face. I never thought I'd see the day, and honestly, whoever's decision that was, I'm embarrassed for you.
Damn.
I really want you to know, like, this ain't it, Chief.
Yeah, I've been thinking, like, yeah, they're really gonna try and have him fill that Gargano role, which Jesus Christ.
See, and I just thought that Braun would be that because he got like the color palette and everything, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I just see different types of baby faces. Like, I think Braun would be a top face in a way, but I feel like they want LA Knight to be that guy where, like, even when he's not in the title picture or whatever, like, you think NXT, or at least you think black and gold. You think LA Knight now that Gargano's gone.
I think if anyone
is
the heart and soul of NXT right now, since Gargano is gone, it's EO.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I think that's a great choice. But yeah, that was LA Knight. Like I said, though, we're on Cora Jade versus Dakota Kai. Did you have anything you wanted to say about this match? Because I know I already touched on it in the
No, I don't need to say anything. I actually missed most of it, and then I found out Dakota lost, and I was sad.
Yeah, I'd say it. You know what? I was going to tell you it's going to be okay, but
Dakota Kai might be the most prolific loser in NXT history.
Oof.
It's I love how you really thought about it and realized how right I am, and that's only when the oof came.
Yeah. I hate it.
It's so fucking bad. I can't imagine. Like, dude, she's lost literally every big match she's ever been in.
And it's even worse because this wasn't even a big match. Like,
no, and I was even going to add, and a good majority of the ones that she's been in that weren't big either. Like, she cannot get a W to save her life, dog. Oh, it's so bad.
But see, that's because the W she gets is in life for being such an astounding fucking person.
She is.
Thank Christ.
She really is.
So after that, that was more depressing than I was hoping it would be. I think Toxic Attraction might have beat up Cora Jade afterwards. Yeah. I honestly forget.
They did, because then later in the night we got Vic with the announcement that her shoulder has a contusion and that she's day-to-day.
Oh, right. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, because I remember now Mandy doing an arm breaker in the middle of the ring and stuff like that, and then really putting the boots to her.
Yeah.
So then after that, we get the whole Grayson.
I mean, dude, I know it's late for Heat of the Night, but Vic Joseph was fucking grating tonight. Holy shit, he annoyed
me. Man, him trying to put his sad face on when Waller called him out, that was one of the few enjoyable parts of that segment.
I actually wanted to bring this up to you earlier when we were talking about the Waller promo, but I got lost in the sauce. Do you think there's a chance that Barrett wrestles Waller at some point?
Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely. I'm not going to put too much into it because I don't want to be disappointed if it doesn't happen. But yeah,
dude,
like
I like when Waller Like when Barrett voiced his support of Waller and Waller went after him anyway, I was like, I bet Barrett would get quite cheered if he would decide to stand up for himself and Vic and go after Waller.
Yeah, and he could even like announce his return to the ring for one night only to be like, Grayson, I'm afraid I've got some bad. Like if he did the whole bit, he'd get a huge pop.
That would be amazing. Yeah, that'd be great.
And he'd be like, I just came from Regal's office, and next week you're gonna be facing me, or just something like that. It'd be perfect. And again, that's the kind of stuff.
Dude, there's a big part of me that really wants him to make a Lord reference at some point in NXT.
Oh God, that'd be amazing.
It's got to be subtle. It can't be too hammer-fisted. But if he pulls it off, dude, I'm gonna mark out so goddamn hard. It's gonna be embarrassing.
Hammer-fisted from the guy with the bull hammer. Amazing.
Oh my God, you.
But yeah, after that, we get the Harlan throwing Kendrick off stairs. We get Grayson backstage with Io and Tiffany, which that happened. Then Raquel and Dakota, they're all these weapons strewn, and they're in the parking lot, and they're yelling.
Drew McIntyre's ex-wife?
Yeah.
I always thought she was actually talented. I don't know if she actually was or not. I just remember seeing a match of hers. I think she literally had one match on SmackDown before she got released. And, I thought she was pretty good there. But then I never bothered to follow her in Impact when she had the dollhouse.
Yeah. She was all right from what I remember. I don't know. You'd have to ask more Impact faithful, I guess.
I bet you Jackie would give us a really informed opinion on that.
Yeah, Jackie's great. Hi, Jackie. So we get Raquel and Dakota in the parking lot. They're doing a lot of screaming. There's a lot of litter everywhere. I'm not friends with that. Then I'll hand the ball over to you here because I think you had actually nice things to say about this in the Discord. Tony D'Angelo versus Andre Chase.
I loved it. I thought this was a great match. I think that, dude, it is so like, God, I don't want to say fulfilling, but I think it really is just fulfilling to see Andre Chase here getting his just due. Because, like, I'll never forget the fucking Bravado brothers when they were in Ring of Honor, and I was such a fan of theirs. I thought they were such effective heels, and they were just such, like, smarmy little pricks, and I just thought they were so good at their jobs. And then, like, I don't know if they got released from Ring of Honor or if, like, Ring of Honor, if they got hurt and Ring of Honor just stopped using them, or if they wanted to leave Ring of Honor. I don't know what the deal is there, but at some point they left. Maybe it was just when I stopped watching Ring of Honor, because I stopped watching Ring of Honor not long after Wrestling's Greatest Tag Team, which was Benjamin and Haas at the time, beat the Kings of Wrestling for the tag titles. That was like, the Kings of Wrestling at that time were like the main thing keeping me hooked on ROH, and then they dropped the titles, and I was like, okay, I'm out. I'm done. So that might have just been why I stopped, being in touch with the Bravados. But man, this dude is so good. Like, he's so good in the ring. He's so good at, like, just the trash talk aspect. He's a great promo. He's like a classic heel, man. I don't know. It's so rare to see a guy that kind of, it's like he knows all the little shitty little tricks. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to explain.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, I just really like Andre Chase. And this was, to me, Tony D'Angelo's best showing in the ring. This match made me have a lot more faith in him as a potential main event guy, just because there were actually moments during this match that he was on offense, and I was like, oh, that was cool. Oh, that was cool. Oh, that was fun. Oh, I like that. Like, he did a lot of. It was mostly suplexes, but suplexes are good. Suplexes are fun. Suplexes look cool. Suplexes are like a good thing. I don't have a problem with suplexes. So, yeah, this match made me like both guys more, and that's like the best thing you could possibly ask for coming out of a match.
I mean, much like Cameron Duke Hudson, I think you said everything perfectly there. I would just add a note for Tony D'Angelo as far as the in-ring goes, because actually Andre Chase has grown on me as well, so I've got no notes for him.
Nice.
I like Tony. You know this. I personally would get rid of the Northern Lights setup for the twisting fisherman pin. I would just do the twisting fisherman pin, because I think it's way too slow to me.
The twisting fisherman pin, it's so, like, coincidental, I guess. I don't know what the word would be here. That he uses a fisherman variation as his finisher, because there were moments in this match that I got headache vibes from him.
Yeah, yeah. My thing about the Northern Lights and why I say get rid of it, and instead I would do like a neck breaker like from that position, because we've seen like spinning neck breakers like from that position, and then I would pick the guy up and then I would just hook the leg and then do the fisherman. That I think would be better if you want a 2-stage maneuver. The Northern Lights, I think it's too slow. I think it looks a lot better when you're able to do it with a bit more snap. And I think he takes too long between moves. That's the only note. I don't want to drag him for
honestly, I noticed that a lot of what he does basically just looks like a slower version of what Braun Breaker does.
Yeah.
Like they have very similar movesets. Braun just has a little extra snap and intensity behind his.
And, I don't say this to be an asshole, but I think that's why Braun is being positioned to be that top guy. Because I think there's got to be a certain energy. Yeah, when you do that kind of stuff.
Totally agree with you.
So,
yep.
Yeah, that's my only note for Tony. After that, he gets on the mic and, he cuts a promo just really talking about how he's been cleaning up around here. You know what I'm saying? And then he calls out.
I got to say, he has really won me over on the mic, too. He's really good with this character. I don't know if he has a natural Italian accent, like if that's actually him talking or if he's putting it on. But regardless, he pulls it off so well.
He makes me want to flex the Italian in me. Like every time he talks, I get a little excited. I even called Pete Dunne in the Discord Petey Paisan, and he calls Pete Dunne out. And Pete Dunne's music hits, and Dunne says, he's not here to talk, he's here to fight. And,
no kidding, Peter.
Like,
even if you wanted to be here to talk, you can't fucking do it anyway. You jamoke.
Ooh. Wow. Oh, damn. Man, you are bodying people tonight. I love that for you.
God, Dunne just annoys me so much, dude. He is just such a little shit.
It really is a shame because he seems like such a good dude out of the ring, but I'm just like sitting here like, dude, evolve, please.
It's like
that Pokemon It's like that Pokemon you have 500 battles with and it doesn't do shit. It's like Metapod, just do something. Fuck.
Bro, Metapod evolves so fast.
Oh, God. So imagine if you got a broken one. That's Pete Dunne. He's a broken Metapod.
Literally just knows how to use... And it works, too, because Metapod only knows one move, and Pete Dunne only knows how to fucking break fingers like a jackass.
And he does. He breaks
Dude, can you imagine some dude gets into a real fight with Pete Dunne, and Pete Dunne starts going to try and fucking manipulate the dude's fingers, and he just gets fucking popped?
Yes. Pop-ins. But yeah. He breaks D'Angelo's fingers. And again, I see a character like D'Angelo.
Just imagine afterwards, after Pete got laid out by the punch, the dude's going up to his friends and they're just like, what the hell was that dude doing to you? And he was just like, I don't know. I think he wanted to hold hands or something.
Yeah. Oh, God. But yeah, I see characters like D'Angelo, and it just makes me miss Lucha Underground because, like, I really want the universe to give me a Vinny Massaro and Tony D'Angelo vignette, and that's never going to happen. So,
fuck. D'Angelo in Lucha Underground. Because, like, the best thing about Lucha Underground was that they were so good at hiding weaknesses. And you put D'Angelo in Lucha Underground, and oh my God. The promos, the vignettes, like... They could revolve an entire fucking season around him because he could be like in the mob or something. Like, be so good.
Dude, him and Cueto could have had a turf war. And like I would have bought it.
God,
like the mob.
Yes.
Yeah, like the mob versus whatever the fuck Cueto's got going on, like the cartel or whatever the fuck. Like fuck yeah.
Oh God, the cartel. That's a very different thing, but yeah, I get you.
Yes. But yeah, no, I
maybe
like
Cueto
Tony.
gets caught up in a mob versus cartel war.
Oh, dude, classic Cueto. But no, that's why I was even a bit easier on Tony when we were talking about War Games, and I said like I like Tony, but I worried it was too much too fast, and I'll even give Tony his credit. He didn't look too out of place in that main event, and although the neckbreaker spot to Dunn off the top rope looked good. But I'm happy to see that he's still developing, because I love the vignettes of this dude. And like Foster said, apparently he's a total sweetheart, like out of character too, and I love that. Like Tony's the type of guy, honestly, that if I was to go to my local indie fed and like he was there, I'd love to get an autograph from the dude. Genuinely. Like, I don't know. I have fun with him. The same way I have fun with like Ivy Nile. It's that same, like, I don't know how far you're gonna go, but I'm having a good time, and maybe that's what I need to be emphasizing because it is, wrestling
maybe
first
that's
and
what
foremost.
really matters, right?
Exactly. So yeah, Dunn gets his mouth guard back. Yeah. And
Dude, he thinks he's such a Billy Badass because he bent a dude's fingers one time.
God, see, and now I want Tony to really lean into the gimmick, and I want him to break Dunn's fingers in a more traditional fashion. Go Goodfellas on his fucking ass. Yeah, exactly. And Petey Poppins ain't gonna be bending any more fingers. Like I don't know, man. Again, I have a good time. I could
better
turn my
idea.
brain on and just be.
Better idea. Remove his shoulder from its socket, and then say, "Oh, looks like Petey Poppins popped in a whole different way." Hey.
Oh, hey! I'm here for it. Let's get stupid. All right. Grayson Waller gets kicked out of the 2.0 locker room. Braun's like, hey, we don't want you here. And Waller's just like, bro, War Games. Does that mean nothing to you? He's like, fine. I don't want to be in this locker room anyway. Real stars have their own locker room. You remember that, Braun? He's like, oh, I'm sorry. I can't hear you all the way over my NXT World Championship push. So, yeah, Waller gets kicked out. Then we get
don't take too kindly to your kind around here.
Pretty much, yeah. Then we get Boa versus Idris. Again,
I really want to see Idris in a context where it's like meant to highlight him. Like I feel like I know nothing about him other than that he's lost twice now.
Yeah, dude, I think you took the words right out of my mouth, honestly, because I'm looking at this and I'm like, cool for Boa getting pushed because, again, another sweetheart. I'm rooting for you. But if we're talking from a business and wanting the business to succeed, he just has a great look. I'm like, why aren't we pushing that dude? Like, why aren't we making that dude? I don't know. Like, it's confusing to me, honestly. And again, that's not
for sure. Yeah. Without a doubt.
Yeah, like, I'm not trying to diss Boa, man. I'm just looking at the two and I'm like, well, that's the guy I want to put the rocket on. So I don't know. I don't know. But he loses after a roundhouse to the face. You okay?
I just realized that you were still a little bit maybe 3% stuck in Italian accent mode there.
Oh, was I? I really didn't even mean to be that time. I really didn't even mean to be
dude you kept behind. Like, just the way you said it, I thought it was amazing.
Okay. But yeah, Boa gets the win. Good for him. I mean, honestly, but I really hope Idris starts getting pushed soon. And speaking of pushing people, because I was AFK a few times for the show. I just want to fully, own up to that.
I made a bathroom trip. I made a kitchen trip. It's, life's daily needs.
Yeah, I mean, no big deal. I mean, I'm hydrated as fuck, so I made several bathroom trips.
Oh, I'm hydrated AF as well. I've been doing a better job of it.
Hydro homie.
Hi.
But I don't remember seeing a Draco Anthony vignette.
Who?
And I'm like, Draco Anthony.
Oh, the guy that's like NXT needs me. That I remember. Okay, yes.
Yeah, he's moody in the diner with that cup of coffee. He's
where was he? Why did he not get a Vinny?
Maybe he's still working out the tip at that diner before he can leave. And then after he's worked the tip out, he's like, okay, you just wait, NXT.
Just think, though, he wouldn't have to worry about the damn tip at a fucking diner if NXT would just pay him on time. Shit, man.
Ooh, damn. Oh, man. You didn't have to come with the facts that hard.
I feel like I did, though. I really do feel like I did need to come with the facts that hard.
But yeah, so just surprisingly, no Draco vignette, and I'm wondering when that's going to change.
I'd say disappointed, but fuck Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah, dude, so true. Then we get Raquel backstage trying to, I don't know, demonstrate anger or something.
Bro,
she really is not talented
so
enough.
Fucking bad.
Yeah.
Oh my god. How are you worse on the mic than fucking Von Wagner?
I just, again, guys, I'm in a really good mood. So I'm also taking a more compassionate turn. Somebody just needs to take these people by the hand, sit them down, and say, listen, you're just not talented enough. It's not going to happen. I wish somebody would have done that with Hillary when she was a little girl. Then I wouldn't have to suffer through her reading her own acceptance speech that she never got to use because she lost the most layup election of all time. There are a lot of Hillarys in the world. People that think that they're greater than they actually are, and they've just got to settle and make friends with their own mediocrity. Raquel did not do that tonight. and that's a real problem. Mainly it's my problem because I have to
Oh
talk
my
about it.
god.
But yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're doing a street fight. Isn't that so inspired? I mean, like,
I mean, I do
okay,
like it. It is somewhat inspired for the reasoning, just because it's the type of match that their friendship began in when Raquel helped Dakota beat Tegan in the one street fight that they had. But like, I just wish Raquel had a better delivery on it, man. That's all it is. She's just a horrible, horrible promo.
yeah, no, I mean, she really to pull it back a bit. She is, I'm just like, you're not believable to me as a face. I'm gonna be cheering for Dakota the whole time.
Of course.
And really, look, again, I'll keep it 100% transparent. I am a mark for myself, 100%, and I can't help but think that my idea, given that Dakota had this whole cool getup, at least in the vignettes, with the robe and the shovel and everything, I'm like, do a fucking buried alive match. WWE jerks themselves off
Wouldn't
with
that
every
be
progressive
nice?
thing they do
Yeah,
for the women.
imagine that.
Like, yeah, like they talk about every progressive thing they do for the women. Like, oh, look at the women main eventing our pay-per-views. Look at the women doing this match that was traditionally associated with the guys. When's the last time
That's
we
a
even got a fucking
little
buried alive?
3 years ago.
I mean, yeah, but they still find other ways to do it. Like, even, well, actually, you really can't even say that because, and they did earn it. They did earn it. But WWE didn't miss the opportunity either with, like, Sasha and Bianca main eventing Night 1 of Mania. And Michael Cole even had the line, like, oh, two black women main eventing, a WrestleMania kind of thing. So even though, again, even when it's totally earned and they should highlight it, WWE is going to be looking for that good PR for themselves, too. So, yeah, them saying, oh wow, we haven't had a buried alive match in God knows how many years, and it's with two women. Like, yeah, I'm just amazed that they didn't. I'm amazed that they didn't do that. But I shouldn't be
I
too
mean,
surprised.
call me Joey Lawrence, cause whoa.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we're doing a street fight, which again, I think Raquel more or less made that connection that you kind of emphasized. That is where their friendship started, and that is clever. So I'll give them points for that. I just feel like kind of a missed opportunity. But then again, where I'm ultimately wrong. You should only do a buried alive match if you were going to call one of these two up. And I was really only heavily suggesting it at the time because I thought Dakota was getting called up. And now that that didn't happen, it's like, oh well, street fight's fine. Uh, then we get Grayson Waller leaving NXT, and he shows like, oh, you're gonna like the view, and it shows like LA Knight on the ground, like a bitch.
I
We then
love
get
how they're
Jackie
trying
Time.
so desperately to use Waller and his heat to get LA Knight over, and John and I are just sitting here like, no.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Get a better baby face. We could probably help you with that. Jacket Time versus
Bro.
GYV. We already
Imagine
talked
if
about
it
this in
was
the opening
Cameron.
segment.
Oh, oh.
Oh, dude, yes. Now, you want to talk about somebody that could fill Gargano's shoes as the heart and soul of NXT? Cameron
Yes.
fucking Grimes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
100% yes.
Absolutely. Oh, my God. I hope they do it now. I really do. I hope, like, after Grayson wins the feud with LA Knight, like, Cameron interrupts. And he's like, I've been busy shaving people and being rich. But I really couldn't stand you talking all that back there. I don't know. Just find some way to get them in a ring together. It'd be the best thing to happen to Grayson Waller. I can tell you that much. Jackie Time versus GYV. We already talked about this in the opening segment. Then Carmelo and Trick confront Bivens and Strong. Still doing the whole thing of the champion versus the A champion. Bivens, though, pointing out that Carmelo and Trick have their own problems. Dexter Loomis is left a drawing for them, and we know that we're going to get Dexter Loomis versus Trick next week, as well as Carmelo versus Dakota, or excuse me, Raquel versus Dakota in that street fight, and Pete Dunne versus Tony D'Angelo all next week. So really trying to load that card out 2.0 style.
Yeah,
And
they really are.
yeah, absolutely. So good for Loomis, though. I love seeing him on my TV. Then we get Breaker versus Strong. What do you think about this main event?
A really strong main event. Haha, not intentional. I apologize for the bad pun, but I didn't mean to do it. But yeah, really good main event. Really just great energy from both guys. Roderick is always that Energizer Bunny. Braun brings it. Yeah, this was just a really solid match. Braun threw Roddy around a bunch. Roddy really got to show off his freaky strength. because the way that he lifted Braun up in that one power bomb was like, holy fuck! Like Braun is not a small dude. That's like a 245-pound motherfucker, and Roddy lifted him up like it was a child. It was incredible. Yeah, Roddy's really impressive. Braun also impressive in different ways. Just a great overall match, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Nothing to add. Let's get to our next segment. High spot. Actually, no, I can't because I do just have to say to end the show, Ciampa did attack Breaker with a Willow's Bell, seemingly on the championship. I thought I saw. So he lays Breaker out. He talks some trash. I'm assuming he agreed to that third match because there's no way that he did all that talking just for it to be a no.
I know I heard him say, "Welcome back to the deep end."
Oh wow. Okay. But yeah, we're gonna do it. I don't know when, but we're gonna do it. So hopefully Breaker wins and we can move on to that title reign. I have no idea what Ciampa does after that. And again, I ask, where the fuck is Timothy Thatcher if he hasn't been formally announced as released? I have so many questions. But that aside, we move on to our next segment: high spots, low shots. My low shot is LA Knight. You talked so much shit on your way to the building. We don't follow up with you again after that until you're laid out in literally the fucking parking lot.
And
so you just became...
You misused the term incel like a moron.
Yeah, but he's done that forever. So, I'm glad you pointed that out, but I've been used to that. It's like a we done new kind of thing with LA Knight.
Wait, really? Has he used that term before?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, interesting. I don't remember hearing him say that before.
Yeah, he's definitely used it before. He's used it against the crowd. I think he's used it against other people, like in actual programs, I think. But I know for a fact he's used it against the crowd, and obviously used it against Grayson Waller here. But yeah, you talked a lot of shit, and then you just became another statistic, getting assaulted in the NXT parking lot. Like, you really don't listen.
Add to it. Yeah, good point.
Yeah. So, easy low shot for me, LA Knight. Who's your low shot?
Dakota Kai. She fucking always loses, and she lost again tonight. And she lost tonight to a relative rookie, which makes it even worse.
Is there anything left of your soul to even hurt having to come back here?
No.
Okay, I just want a confirmation on that. All right. High spot. Actually, I'm having a bit of difficulty on who I want to choose. You know what? Just because I have fun with them, my high spot, Tony D'Angelo. I mean, he infected me wanting to be a part of it. That's why I'm calling Pete Dunne Petey Paisan. Like I just, Petey Poppins, Peter Dune. Like how many variations of this man's name can we do? And yeah, he won tonight. And even though Pete Dunne did like a finger break to him, I could see Tony winning the match next week. So yeah, fucking Tony's awesome. I stand Tony in this house, and he's my high spot. What about you, bro?
I love the Tony pick. My high spot. Let's see. I might as well go for the low-hanging fruit and make it Braun Breaker because he won tonight, and most likely, assuming that we're getting our assumptions all correct, is getting a world title shot very soon again, probably at New Year's Evil.
There you go. All right, guys. With that said, this has been NXT. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans by wrestling fans on the web today. I'm John. That's my coordinate commentary action. Be sure to leave a like on the video. The more likes you leave, the more likely we are to be the top search result for NXT reviews on YouTube. And when you're the best at what you do, the top is the only place that you belong. So please leave that like. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon so you can keep up with everything that TWitWoW produces. Check out everything we're involved in the description box. I would like to plug the Patreon. You can go and you can see what we offer. We've done a few tour requests this month. We've got another one coming up on the 22nd. We're doing OTT's 7th anniversary show, courtesy of the Chiefin. That'll be December 22nd. So if you want us to live react to a match, several matches, or even a whole show, check out our Patreon and see our price breakdown. Other things that we offer, I always like to plug. I've been plugging the Discord throughout the night. Again, only $3 a month for Discord membership. We have a channel for virtually everything, including submitting Q&A questions. Now, if you want more Q&A questions, because currently non-Patreon owners only get 3, donate $1 and you'll get 2 additional questions for a total of 5. So check out our Patreon and everything we offer there. Follow us both on Twitter. I am at John_TWitWoW. My pinned tweet is, again, a place to submit Q&A questions. I think my pinned tweet and the Discord channel for Q&A are the best places to submit your questions. You can follow Ashton at Ashton_TWitWoW. His pinned tweet is usually the schedule for the month. I know we're in mid-December, and I think he still has a November schedule, But we've been pretty good about updating you guys what's going on in December. And as far as the rest of this week goes, I'm hoping tomorrow that we're going to be providing live reactions to you guys for the December 12th Stardom show at 5 p.m. Eastern time. And after that, Friday will be game night in the Discord during SmackDown, so from 8 to 10. And then, Friday night into Saturday, 1:30 a.m. on Saturday, we're going to try and live react to Stardom's, what is it, Tokyo Super Wars show? I think that's what's happening here, where we're going to be doing the Osaka Super Wars. You know what? I think you're right about that. My mistake, everyone, so let me run that back. At 1:30 a.m. on Saturday, we'll be trying to live react to Osaka Super Wars, and obviously the big match there is going to be QQ versus Oedo Tai. Mainly, Starlight Kid and Momo. Their dignity is at stake. If Momo loses for the QQ side, she has to join Oedo Tai. If Kid loses, she has to join Queen's Quest, and she'll have to unmask as part of her membership. So that's going to be really interesting. I'm assuming that's the main event. And I actually want it to be the main event because I think that is the highest stakes matchup, personally, as we continue to be on the road to Stardom Queendom. And beyond that, I don't think we have anything for the rest of the weekend. So, yeah, follow us again most immediately for Stardom 12/12 live reactions at 5 tomorrow. And then we're going to try Saturday at 1:30 to live react to the 12/18 show, Osaka Super Wars. And I did mention Q&A. I always like to give a date for Q&A. That's always the last Thursday of every month. So you can look out for that December 30th. And hey, not too long after that, guys, we'll be doing TWitWoW year-end awards. I'm so close to finishing mine. I'd really like to finish mine soon so that I could take a nice breather. But yeah, TWitWoW's got a lot of good stuff coming for you before 2022 begins. So continue to follow us. We greatly appreciate it. Until we meet again, guys, take care of yourselves and each other. Tune in and peace out.